One of the hardest things to accept is that sometimes people don't hurt you and you still grow apart. No argument, no betrayal, no dramatic ending, just a slow shift that you don't notice at first. Conversations feel different. Silences last a little longer. The things you once shared don't land the same way anymore. And it's confusing because nothing bad happened. No one did anything wrong. Yet something feels different. You start to notice it in small ways. The conversations that once flowed easily now feel forced. The laughter that once came naturally now feels quieter. The connection that once felt effortless now takes more energy. At first you brush it off. Maybe it's just a phase. Maybe everyone's just busy. Maybe things will go back to how they were. So you keep showing up. You keep trying to reconnect. You keep revisiting familiar spaces. You keep hoping the distance is temporary. But over time, something becomes clearer. It's not distance caused by conflict. It's distance created by growth, and that's harder to accept. Because when someone hurts you, it's easier to understand why things changed. But when no one did anything wrong, there's nothing to blame, just a quiet realization that you're no longer standing in the same place. Your priorities have shifted, your perspective has changed, your interests have evolved. And while that's natural, it can still feel uncomfortable because you remember what once existed. You remember the closeness, the shared moments, the version of yourself that existed in those connections. And there's a part of you that wonders, does growing mean losing people? Sometimes it does, not because you stopped caring, not because they stopped mattering, but because growth changes how you relate to the world, and sometimes to each other. You begin to notice that certain conversations no longer feel fulfilling, that certain environments feel unfamiliar, that certain dynamics no longer reflect who you're becoming. And this shift doesn't come with anger. It comes with something quieter, a sense of distance without resentment. You still wish them well. You still appreciate what once existed. You still value the memories, but you also recognize that forcing closeness where it no longer fits doesn't bring things back. It only creates more discomfort. So you begin to step back, not dramatically, not intentionally at first. Just naturally, you respond a little less. You initiate a little less. You spend more time in spaces that feel aligned with where you are now. And slowly, the distance becomes real, and that's when the mixed emotions appear. There's no anger, but there's still sadness. No resentment, but still a sense of loss. Because even when something ends peacefully, it still marks the end of a chapter. And chapters, even good ones, aren't always meant to last forever. That realization can feel heavy because we often believe that meaningful connections should stay the same, that if something mattered, it should continue. But sometimes, the meaning was in the time you shared, not in how long it lasted. Some people walk with you through specific parts of your life. They fit who you were at that time. They understood your world in ways others couldn't. And that mattered. It shaped you. It supported you. It helped you grow. But growth doesn't always keep everyone together. Sometimes it gently pulls people in different directions. And that's not failure, it's just movement. You begin to understand that outgrowing someone doesn't mean you stop appreciating them. It simply means the connection has changed. The closeness may fade, but the impact remains. You carry the lessons, the memories, the moments that shaped who you became. And instead of holding on to what no longer fits, you allow the relationship to settle into something quieter, maybe less frequent, maybe less personal, but still respectful, still kind, still free from bitterness. Because there's no need to turn distance into conflict. Not every ending needs tension. Not every change requires confrontation. Sometimes people simply evolve. And when you accept that, something inside you softens. You stop forcing things to feel the same. You stop measuring the connection against what it once was. You stop expecting something that naturally shifted. And instead, you allow things to exist as they are now, without pressure, without expectation, without resentment. And in doing so, You create space. Space for new connections that align with who you are now. Space for quieter relationships that feel more natural. Space for growth that doesn't require holding on to the past. And maybe the most surprising part is that you don't feel bitterness. You don't feel anger. Just a quiet understanding that people come into your life for different reasons, and sometimes for different lengths of time. And that's okay, because outgrowing someone doesn't erase what once mattered. It simply acknowledges that life keeps moving, and so do we. And maybe that's part of growing, learning to let relationships change without turning them into something painful, learning to appreciate what was without needing it to stay the same, learning that distance doesn't always come from hurt. Sometimes it comes from becoming someone new,